Well, K-Mag, absolutely brilliant last time out, mate. Let's go make a championship out of this, shall we? Yeah, come on, man, you can do it. And Logan, you're going to stay dressed like that, mate, until you don't make a mistake in a race. Hi guys, I'm Aussie Villain and welcome back to Kicking Haas. We have the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix today, the second race of the season after last race. Kevin Magnussen, magnificent victory, getting the job done in the final few laps with the fastest lap of the race as well for a maximum 26 points. Absolutely huge, brilliant stuff. And Logan Sargeant, he continues to be disappointing at times, doesn't he? Now, if we go and have a quick look, there's only been a week between the two races, so not too much has happened. But if we look at car development, you'll see that we have started to work on our suspension. Hopefully, that is going to allow us to make a step forward in that as well. Side pods are coming as well in the next 16 days. And this is design, then we'll have to manufacture them as well. But we can always rush that or emergency build those as well at a little bit of extra cost. So that's absolutely fine. Now, the one thing I am going to do on the car this race, though, is if we go and have a look at the underfloor, and to go to change here, our new underfloor, we have two of them. So now Saudi Arabia does have a lot of walls to hit, but I figure if it's there, we will use it. It makes us a little bit better. So we'll install that on both cars. And yeah, like I say, whoever hits the wall, that's it. Party's over. We go back to the original. But for now, we're going to trust them not to do that, which is probably my first mistake. Now, do we have any development points? I don't think we do. No, we do. Jack Crawford has one. So we'll go and stick that on to cornering. So he continues to develop, ready for his potential almost inevitable move up into the race seat next season. Head of Aero, did anybody here have a development point? No. We've got just under 16 million in the bank. Facilities, the next thing I want to upgrade, I think, is design center, so we can get extra engineers, so we can, then we can start and really churn out 3 things at once. But until we have that, when we don't have enough money right now, we need 18 million, so probably next race we'll be able to go and do that. So that is more or less everything caught up on. If you go and have a look at what we're expecting here, Saudi Arabia, it doesn't rain often, not going to rain this weekend. We can see the overview there of the track. For qualifying purposes, we have a blue... No, I've lost my sectors. Where am I on the lap here? Red is Sector 1, blue is Sector 2, yellow is Sector 3. Sections by speed. It's fast, this one, isn't it? And our car tends to do better when it's going slower. So I don't know what to expect from this one. Time considerations, 25-odd seconds for a pit stop. Only 14 seconds, though, for a safety car stop, so that is definitely something to consider doing. It's a one-stop. You could do a soft tyre and make it a two-stop, but I think we'll probably do medium hard and then have the potential to go to a soft tyre at the end. The soft tyre is about, what's that, 8 or so tenths of a second a lap faster, so it doesn't last very long, though. So if you are going to make a late race stop, it's going to have to be very late in the race. Last year, Magnussen was 4th, Sargeant was 12th. Let's hope we can get both cars into the points this time. And historically, Sainz won at season 1 for us. Verstappen won it last year, as I think he did manage to win most races. So that's that. Let's have a look at our performance targets here. Reach Q2. We should probably be reaching Q3. We need 1 car in the top 8 as well for all these bonuses. Fastest lap. Well, you never know. We got it last race without necessarily meaning to. We need a car in the top 8. And the performance targets, finishing position, 2 cars. No, we just need 1 car in the top 10. They've realised it's not going to be Sargeant. Qualifying position, again, we need 1 car in the top 10. We should be doing that. At a minimum, we should be doing that. So let's go off to Saudi Arabia and see what we can do here. So, confirmation of the weather for the weekend. As ever, I'll go do free practice. I'll see you momentarily for qualifying and... yeah, we'll get an idea from free practice where our car kind of stacks up here. Okay, so free practice is done, and it went well, I've got to say. If we have a look here at actual results, FP1, we see Sargeant there in 6th, which is good. Crawford just down a little bit there in 16th. He was really unhappy with the car setup, though, so I'm not surprised he was that far off the pace of Sargeant. If we're going to look at FP2, K-Mag jumps back in. He goes 6th. Sargeant goes 10th, which is good. And then if we go and have a look at FP3, it was 5th and 10th. So Sargeant's been inside the top 10 all 3 sessions. K-Mag's jumped in, being inside the top 6 for both sessions. And if we go and have a look at car setups, 100% on both. So this should be absolutely fine for Q1, short of a crash. Sargeant. So yeah, I'll go and do that off camera. So, yep, absolutely fine. Both on just one set of tyres. K-Mag had to do a second run. He got blocked by Gasly on his first lap. So, yeah, he did an extra run, but on the same set of tyres. Yeah, never in any doubt of not getting through. Both in the top 10. Absolutely brilliant. On to Q2. Okay, we are coming around to start our lap now. We're currently both cars outside the top 10. Now, Magnussen got blocked by everybody and their dog on his first attempt. So, that's why he is so far off the pace. Sargeant, I think, got a little bit of traffic. But I'm a little bit more concerned about him than K-Mag. We'll get an idea in a second here of how much faster we're going. There's a little bit of green on the tower there. Hopefully, we'll be able to match it. Both of our guys have done a green first sector, so that is a good start. Obviously, we are on board with Sargeant here, who's excuse me, dropped down to 12th now. He's done 2 green sectors, as has K-Mag. Some purple sectors at the top of the session, but that's not really our battle here. We are currently 14th and 15th. We need big laps here. Can we do it? Sargeant, 7th. Magnussen, here he comes. 6th. We are through with both cars. So a little bit of nerves there, but ultimately the car is quick enough, so we didn't have too much to worry about. So we'll go and do Q3, see where we can start this thing. Oh dear. Magnussen has crashed on his outlap of the first run. Now, how serious of a crash are we talking here? Oh, he's just gone wide. K-Mag. Is that his underfloor gone as well? Alright, now, thankfully, it was just front wing damage, so K-Mag is still good to go here. We're currently 9th and 10th. Both drivers did their first run on new, well, K-Mag did it in the wall, but Sargeant was just on used tyres, so his first run on a new set. We're going to have 2 sets of new softs to go for the race if we need them. And we've done a green sector with both cars. We're on board with K-Mag. He's at the back. We've got Sargeant in front. We just catch a glimpse of him every now and again. Let's have a look and see what everybody else is doing here. Not much green going around. Now, that worries me a little bit. It's the track. It should be getting grippier, not worse. They've both done green second sectors as well. And can we push ourselves up the grid late on here? We've got Sargeant coming into the last corner. Nobody else has done a faster lap. Can Sargeant push himself up this grid? He goes nowhere. Magnussen goes 5th. So 5th and 10th. So a little bit disappointing perhaps from Sargeant, but inside the top 10, that's a good place to start. And K-Mag in 5th, ready to pounce on those top 4 cars. Crucially though, maybe surprisingly, we're ahead of the Mercedes this race, which is a good place for us to be. Now, yeah, medium hard. I mean, you want to be on the medium tyre as long as possible, wouldn't you? I would imagine. So we'll push that pit stop back. The issue is that you may be allowing yourself an undercut, but then equally, what we might also be doing is giving ourselves better tyres at the end. And we saw last race, the key to K-Mag's victory was the fact that he could push those tyres. The car seemed to keep the tyres in a good place for longer. So we might come in that little bit earlier with K-Mag and trust that again our car is going to keep those tyres alive for him. So we will we'll make sure we get the ERS going first few laps here. And yeah, could we be on for points? I hope so. Could we be on for another win? Well, K-Mag's better starting position than he had in Bahrain. Alright, welcome back, and here we go. Red Bull's on one side, Ferrari's on the other, and K-Mag just lurking there. Long hold from the lights. Let's jump on board with Kevin Magnussen. Can he get something done off of the line here? If he can hold position, that wouldn't be terrible for us. And it looks as though he has done just that. And Sargeant has moved up a place to 9th. Now, I see a hard tyre in front of us here. Now, is that going to be a one-stop going the other way, perhaps? Which isn't necessarily a terrible idea, but we need to make sure we're moving them out of the way here quite quickly. There's a couple of soft tyre runners back there as well. So that's a definite 2-stop. Everybody else, you imagine, would be on a 1-stop unless we get safety cars, which around here there's probably a decent chance of. But we need K-Mag to get Sainz out of the way here nice and quickly so we can get after the other medium tyre runners. We don't want to get stuck behind a car that is definitely going to be moving a little bit slower than everybody else at the start here. And that seems to be what's happening. We drop back and have a look at Sargeant. He's currently behind Alonso in the Alpine. And he has got... well, he's stuck on the back of this train that is behind Sainz right now. Come on, K-Mag. got to move him out of the way sooner rather than later. Let's push the petrol a little bit early on here, and just because this is our tyre advantage. This is when we need to be quicker than Carlos Sainz. He's going to have the medium tyres later on in the race, so we need to make this count now, as DRS will be activated. The battery is empty. Oh, I've hit the wrong thing there, haven't I? And we'll go back to neutral.
DRS enabled.
And, well, we need to wait for DRS now, don't we? See if we can get some moves done with that. Alright, Sargeant on the march. He has used DRS, got past Alonso in the Alpine. There's about a 2-second gap in front of him, so he needs to try and close that gap down now as quickly as possible. While staying on the track, please, Logan. Alright, we are just entering our pit windows here. We've got Magnussen just stuck on the back of that lead group, which is absolutely fine for him. And Sargeant just is still going back and forth with Alonso. They just DRS back past each other, back and forth. So he can't quite break free of that. I'm a little bit tempted to maybe call him in early, but I think we were going to go a little bit longer with him, weren't we, and try and get the better tyre life at the end. But we are coming into Magnussen's optimal lap now for a pit stop, so we'll call him in. Verstappen has come in. We will get K-Mag in, put him on the hard tyre, and that'll be him going to the end then. And, oh, Sargeant is locked up again. Logan, man, I am losing patience with you. What are we going to do with you? Turn 26, so into the last thing. And, yeah, just... I'm beginning to wonder if his issue is... Because he's overtaking and overtaking and defending is quite low. I'm beginning to think that's his problem, and we might just need to invest some more driver development into that part of his race, because there's got to be something, doesn't there? I mean, that's the thing. There's got to be something that's the problem as K-Mag comes into the pits. Let's see what sort of pit stop we get out of our team here today. A 2.9 second stop. It's not enough to jump Leclerc, and well, that's his stop done. A couple of more laps for Logan Sargeant, but. Yeah, I mean, Magnussen's done his stop, he's ahead of Logan here, and that's just not quite where we need him to be. And we're about 2 seconds off the back of this Ferrari as well, so we don't have DRS for K-Mag. Ah, Sargeant, you muppet. Oh, here we go, competitor crash. Are we going to get a safety car? Yellow flag. And it doesn't look as though it is going to be a safety car. It's Sonoda, and... well, that would have worked out very nicely for Sargeant, but not to be. So we've got K-Mag. He has caught up to the Ferrari. A little bit of thanks to Norris, who was holding him up. He's got straight past Lando, though, and stays on the back of Leclerc. That could be huge. And if we go and have a look here, we've got Logan Sargeant coming in this lap as well. About half a lap away from his stop. So, yeah, frustrating Sargeant, but... well, we'll see where he comes out, and yeah, I don't know. I can only think that it is because of his overtaking and defending being so low. Because I'm trying to think back now. Most of the time when he does have his lockups, he is around other cars. He doesn't very often do it. He does occasionally, but not very often when he's just sort of driving around by himself. So. Yeah, maybe that's where we need to look to develop him. But let's see what sort of stop we get. 2.8 second. That's not a bad one. Can he get out ahead of George Russell in the Mercedes? And yes, he can. But down there in 15th, that's, well, that's not 8th or 7th where he was, is it? So it's a little bit of a procession just now as we get a yellow flag as somebody goes wide. Magnussen, as you can see, he's going to end up third. They're catching Perez and Sainz, who started on the hard tyre, the three of them that have stopped Verstappen, Leclerc and Magnussen. Obviously, they're going to have the softer tyre coming at the end, and we're only just over halfway. We've got a yellow flag here. DRS disabled. That means safety car. All right. Let me have a think here. Now, unfortunately, there's not really much that we can do with this because... we've already got our hard tyre on, we've used our medium, and the soft tyre is not going to get to the end. And I don't want to commit ourselves, as Hamilton is the one that has crashed. I don't want to commit myself to having to then come in again, although it could work out that there's another safety car. But if we get another safety car, then we'll just come in for one set of softs, rather than sort of risking and needing another one. But anyway...
okay, back off.
So we are coming back to green. Now, this has worked out an absolute treat for Perez and Sainz because they're still 4th and 5th, but they now have a medium tyre on. So they have made out like absolute bandits from that. It suited them a lot more than it suited us. But here we go. You'll notice we're pushing on the petrol. We've got a lot extra now, so we can afford to do that. But yeah, I have a feeling that what was looking as though it might have been a race playing out for K-Mag to get on the podium, Sainz and Perez should, by rights, be 1st and 2nd in this race. And we are sort of battling with Verstappen and Leclerc to try and get ourselves 3rd, I would say. It has brought Sargeant back into the race, though. So that is a good thing for him. We might even look to get some overtaking done here with him, I think. We've got Russell in front on a hard tyre. But whilst DRS is not active, I mean, the question is, are we just draining the battery here? But we'll try and get some moves done. Of course, well, the issue with Sargeant is he's better off just driving around by himself, isn't he? Because as soon as we try to do some overtaking or defending, he seems to lock up. But, yeah, anyway, doesn't look like much is going to happen here with him. Alright, we are currently on board with Logan Sargeant. We are trying desperately to getting back to the points. In front of us is Russell and Ricciardo, which is 11th and 12th. And then we've got a 1.5 second gap to Alonso in 10th. So we're trying the overtake. It's not really worked, to be honest, which is disappointing. Magnussen is back in 5th, which is where I kind of expect him to finish. He did do a decent job trying to hold off Perez and Sainz, but they've gone sort of 1st and 2nd now, again, as expected. So, yeah, we'll just kind of stay here and see what can happen between now and the end of the race. But I think our interest is definitely with Sargeant. And, well, he does have a little bit better tyre life. If we look at the tyre life of those around us, it is more or less similar to ours being worse. So, yeah, it's not quite falling for us like it did in Bahrain. But, you know, I mean, I think Magnussen, he would lose the lead in the championship, wouldn't he, if he came in 5th? Although Verstappen, if it is Perez and Sainz win the low fuel range, it should be fine because it will come back. But yeah, we need to get past Denny Rick here as quickly as possible if we can. Let's wait and we'll stick it on overtake for the front straight and see if we can get it done. The problem is that we're in a train, a DRS train. So it's not really, it's just not really working out. It's his own fault, isn't it? He was behind the Alpines, you know, he was up in 8th. And again, he's locked up and thrown away what was in all likelihood going to be points. And we just can't afford him to do that. But we'll have a, yeah. We'll have a look next episode at his attributes and what we need to do. Is this a safety car? We're going to stop for softs, but it's not. And it is Vettel locking up. We're getting to the points now with, 4 laps to go. If there is a safety car, it's almost going to take us too far into the race to make it worthwhile coming in and putting on softs. He won't have enough time to use them. But if it was to come out this lap, it might still work out. K-Mag has gone back positive now. We go and have a look at him. He's still sitting there. I wonder if we could try our little harvest trick again. And the issue is that I'm worried we're going to lose DRS here because we know our car isn't the fastest in a straight line. And yeah, I just don't think we can afford to do it here. We don't have that middle sector like we had in Bahrain to sort of close us back up. To be honest, if we came out of a track that is very power dependent with K-Mag in 5th, I don't think that's a bad result for us at all. We might, on the last lap, go deploy and see if, you know, if we can nick a position here, but yeah, like I say, I suspect not. I think, yeah, I mean, the problem here now with Sargeant is that even if we get these two, we're not going to make up the gap to get to Alonso. So Sargeant's race is effectively run. He will be just a disappointing 13th, really, isn't it? There's no other way around it. And he had the chance. The safety car gave him the opportunity to come back into things, but he's just not been able to get overtaking done. which might be down to the car. Like I say, we're not the quickest in a straight line. We are working to try and fix that. But here and now, we don't quite have the ability to do that. Perez is absolutely driven off into the distance here, and Sainz is holding up a little bit of a train. I wonder if his tyres are fading. Not really. We've got another yellow flag in Sector 1. What has happened there? Is that a Perez crash? It's a yellow flag. And the gap to Perez, look at that. Perez has crashed. Now, has he done damage? And if so... Oh, you'll be spitting chips. He's done a Sargeant all by himself, and he's just driven off the road. He's going to hit the wall, is he? Oh. He's done well to get out of there and still be in the lead. And unfortunately for us, I don't think he's done any damage either. But, yeah, that gap has certainly come down. And, well, it's very much raced back on for the lead now. We've got the best seat in the house here, don't we? We'll just back Sargeant off so he doesn't run out of petrol. And... yeah, well, this is the second last lap. I think last lap we will go for it. We've got 5 seconds behind us, so if K-Mag does make a mistake, as long as it's not too bad of a mistake, we'll be aggressive on his tyres now, Sargeant's tyres. Again, it's too late for him. He's not gonna be able to get points, even if he does get some overtaking done. Our big hope here is K-Mag. And even he is looking like he's dropping off the back a little bit here, doesn't he? He's still got DRS. We'll stick it on deploy. We'll stick it on push. We'll stick it on attack. And see if he can get something done on somebody.
This will be the last lap.
Last lap. Come on. Can he stick a move on? Can he stick a move on? It's Leclerc in front, Verstappen in front of him. Does he have the car underneath him for a lunge or for something? Battery is now empty, so that's not going to help us anymore. He's there, isn't he? He's right there. Unfortunately, we might just have to back off the petrol a little bit to make sure we don't run out here. Can he get something done into the last corner? K-Mag? No! And I suspect we're not going to have the traction. So it's a classic race. The top 5 covered by about 2 seconds, not even. K-Mag will come in 5th. And Sargeant, he will trail home a very, very disappointing 13th.
Let's check his flag.
So there we go, 10 points for K-Mag, a big donut for Logan Sargeant, and well, it does beg the question, could we see a Logan Sargeant mistake in every race of the season? He's on track right now. We've seen Magnussen drop down to 2nd in the championship. The perfect weekend for Perez has bumped him up top. Only 2 points in it, though. It's a top 5 so far for the championship, though. And as I've said many, many times, we need Sargeant to come to this party because we are already starting to lose track with the top 2. And, yeah, I mean, Alpine are closer to us than we are to Ferrari and Red Bull. So that is obviously a disappointment. But if you've enjoyed that race, make sure you hit thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. We do have a development point for Sargeant. We will look to, as I say, put that into something else, overtaking, defending. Yeah, I don't know what to do with him. Anyway, guys, I'll see you next time. It's my home race. It's the Melbourne Australian Grand Prix. And that's a track that should suit us not too badly, I don't think. Take care.